Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good and doing okay. If you're just joining the fam, please endeavor to follow the podcast and listen to previous episodes. To everyone following the podcast currently, to everyone who has subscribed to the podcast newsletter, thank you so much. To everyone sharing this podcast to their loved ones, thank you so much. And to everyone commenting on the podcast on Spotify, thank you. If you've not read the last newsletter, do read it. If you have not listened to the last episode, do give it a listen. Today, I am not going to motivate you. I'm not motivating you today. I'm not giving you any motivational speech. I'm calling a spade today. That's why we will be talking about signs that you are in a toxic friendship. Stop ignoring the red flags. Red flags are warning signs. They're signs that you have to leave that particular toxic environment quick. But oftentimes, we ignore the red flag. We ignore everything and end up doing more damage to our mind. Your friend is a waving red flag. If they exhibit any of these habits or any of these traits, talking more than listening. If every time you and your friends meet up, all you do is talk about your day, your life, or issues you have without listening to your friend talk about theirs, you're toxic. I understand there are times you have overwhelming issues and all you want is a friend that listens. But if it's something you do consistently, if it's something you do on a daily without allowing your friend share their own issues, you are not being a good friend. Sometimes people do not tell you stuff because they know you will somehow make it about yourself and rope your issues into it or around it. Nobody wants that kind of friend around. Of course, issues will arise and your friends are supposed to be there for you. That's one of the reasons why they're your friends anyway. But don't make it a daily thing. I don't want to be in friendship with someone who every time we meet up, all we talk about is issues. We've probably talked about these issues on the phone. We've texted about the issue. We've called on the phone. We've talked about it. And then we're meeting in person again, and that's all we talk about. Hello. Life is too short for me to keep talking about certain issues over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you've trust the issue already, there's no reason for you to bring it up again. Just move on and try to enjoy the moment you're having. Try to live in the moment because you never know what's going to happen the next minute. You never know what's going to happen the next day. So enjoy every moment you have with your friend. Don't ruin it with your issues. Sometimes your friends will not tell you this, but stop making everything about yourself. Stop making their own friendship about yourself. They also have their own issues, but they cannot come to you because, she's the one who has the most issue. If I talk about mine now, it's going to look, don't be that person. Okay? No one wants a friend that cannot respect their personal space and personal decisions. Your friend got her PhD or bought a house, or maybe your friend got married and told you not to post it, told you not to tell anyone about it, but because you are happier than your friend, which is all right, you decided to tell other people and go ahead to post it on social media. That isn't the way to go. As much as you want the world to know about your friend's achievement, respect their decisions when they say they don't want to share. Yeah, you're happy for your friend. You're happy they finally got that certificate. They finally got the house. They finally got whatever they got. But they already told you, I don't want people to know about this. I just want it to be between me, you, and few others. And then go ahead posting this for the whole world to see. You're a red flag, a waving red flag. So do better, okay? If you're that friend who only knows how to collect gifts from your friends without reciprocating the energy. I'm sorry, not sorry, but you're a flag and you're definitely not green. They probably won't ask you why you've never gifted them, but it's reasonable to gift your friends, especially if they are always the ones gifting you. Don't be that friend that just takes and never gives. It's not a good look. It's not healthy for a friendship. And it's different if you know that you're not capable of gifting during the duration of the friendship. You could just say they should stop gifting you if you don't want the gifts because you can never reciprocate the energy. Your friend may not tell you that they want you to reciprocate the energy, but it's just reasonable. I feel like any normal human being would want to reciprocate. So don't always take, and never give. It's not so good. Calling your friend out in public is outright wrong. It's different if you've talked to them about the same issue in private and then they repeat it in a public place. That is entirely different. But if you've never talked to them about it and you've been keeping it in your head, you've been keeping it in your mind for a long time, out of nowhere or out of annoyance, you're saying, you always do this every single time, you end up causing a scene and embarrassing your friend and yourself too. So if you're that kind of person that always feels the need to call your friend out in public, you're toxic. Yeah, I'm sorry, not sorry to break it to you, but you are a toxic individual. If your friend did something you do not like, call them in private. If all you do, or most of what you do, or spend your time doing, is talking ill behind your friend, you already know you're toxic. You've given yourself away as a toxic individual. Speaking ill of your friend, gossiping about your friend, and saying things that are not nice, or saying things that if these same things were said about you, you wouldn't be happy. You wouldn't like it. That's evil. What you cannot take, stop giving it out. Stop dishing it out. If you know you're not going to be happy when people are gossiping about you and saying things that you never even did, then don't do the same to people. Don't be that person at all. If you're always jealous about your friend's achievements, you need to do the inner work. You need to work on your mind, work on your thoughts, work on your brain, work on your entire system, and try to purge out the jealousy. Nobody's competing with you. Or maybe you have toxic friends who always see everything as a competition. You may just want to leave that friend go. Being jealous about your friend's success just because they've gotten to a higher level than you have gotten is not good. Jealousy may slide in once in a while, but don't let it get a hold of you. Be happy for your friend's achievements. If your friends are the type that they're never happy for your achievements, they're red flags. And you know what you do to red flags? Do not ignore the signs. Leave quickly. If every time your friend comes to you, or you're that friend that you're such a pessimist, every time you guys want to have a project, or every time one of you wants to have a project, you're always saying, what if it doesn't end well? What if this happens? What if that happens? And at the end of the day, you cannot achieve the project. You're toxic and you're a red flag. Don't be that person. Understand that some of these behaviors, some of these characters you exhibit just show up randomly. You have to consciously work on yourself. Work on your subconscious. So stuff like this can never come up. Don't always be that friend who's negative. Be positive about everything. Try as much as possible to be that friend that always sees the positive in everything. I believe there are always two sides, or maybe more than two sides, to a certain issue or a certain thing. Try to be on the positive side. If you're that kind of person who's always disrespectful to your friend, or if your friend is always disrespectful to you, they are toxic and you need to let them go. I'm a huge believer of respecting everyone, regardless of age, social class, or whatever degree you have. If you respect me, I will definitely respect you. Respect starts promoting. You have to respect yourself first, and then respect others so you can be respected. Everyone who doesn't know how to respect others do not respect themselves at all. Just because you're friends doesn't mean there won't be boundaries. Just because you're friends doesn't mean you have to act out of character and be so disrespectful and rude and annoying to your friend, even if they offended you. There are ways around these things. You don't have to be so disrespectful and annoying unnecessarily. If you're being that way, you're toxic. There is no need for sugarcoating. You're toxic, you're a red flag, and you need to do better. If your friend is always lying and manipulating you at every chance they get, you will need to rethink your friendship with that person. They're toxic and they're a red flag. You don't want to be around a friend who lies every single time. Some of these liars, some of these chronic liars, sometimes there is no reason for them to lie. But because they are so used to it, their brain has been conditioned to lie at every chance they get. That is why something so little, where you could easily just say the truth and then everyone will be at peace, they will decide to lie instead. So if your friend is always lying and always gaslighting or manipulating you, you have to stay away from that friend. They're a red flag and there is nothing green about them. If your friend doesn't own up to their mistake, they never agree they made a mistake. Even when you've called their attention to it numerous times and they do not agree to apologize, you need to stay away from such people because they will drain you. If they are like that, they're refusing to accept their mistakes and all of that, they're a red flag. It's a danger zone. It's a warning sign. And the alarm has gone off. So it's time for you to jump away from that friendship and move on with your life and find peace elsewhere. Okay? With that, we've come to the end of today's episode and bringing back the quotes of the week. Today's quote says, "It takes effort to be a real friend and to find a true friend." Thank you again for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, do subscribe on shawafajbi.substack.com. You only need your email address, no added fees, and do not forget to share the podcast to your loved ones and rate the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Rate it 5 stars, okay? Rating the podcast will help put the podcast on the map and allow for visibility to others who are yet to know about the podcast. It takes less than 5 seconds to rate the podcast. Do this for the show. Don't forget to follow the podcast if you haven't. Thank you again for tuning in and see you next week.